What if I told you that the highest mountain on Earth isn't the most dangerous one? In fact, for every 4 people who reach the summit of this peak, 1 person dies trying. This isn't Everest. This is K2. The Savage Mountain. Welcome to World with Ada, where we don't just look at places, we uncover the stories hidden within the ice and rock. Today, we are venturing into the Killer Mountain, a place so treacherous that even the most seasoned climbers call it the ultimate test of human endurance. Why does this specific mountain kill more people than any other 8,000-meter peak? Let's find out. Standing at 8,611 meters, or 28,251 feet, K2 is the second highest mountain in the world. But do not let the ranking fool you. While Everest is often called the roof of the world, K2 is the throne of the gods. It sits deep in the Karakoram mountain range, straddling the border between Pakistan and China. Here is a fact that might blow your mind. Unlike Everest, which sees over 300 successful summits every single year, K2 only sees about 50 to 100 attempts annually. And the success rate hovers around 30%. The mortality rate, however, is a staggering 23%. That is roughly 1 death for every 4 successful summits. But why is this mountain so much deadlier than Everest? It all comes down to 2 things: geometry and weather. First, let us talk about the angle. K2 is a perfect pyramid, which means it is incredibly steep. Climbers do not simply walk up K2, they climb it, often using technical ice climbing techniques. The slopes are frequently at a 45-degree angle or more. But the real terror lies in a section known as the bottleneck. This is the most feared part of the entire route. It is a narrow couloir, a steep gully that funnels climbers into a single file line. Above this bottleneck hangs a massive serac, which is basically a house-sized block of unstable ice. Climbers have to sprint through this zone because the serac can break off and fall at any moment. Imagine running through a shooting gallery where the bullets are thousands of tons of frozen ice. That is the reality of K2. Then there is the weather. K2 is notorious for its unpredictable and violent storms. Because it sits further north than Everest, it lies directly in the path of the jet stream. Winds can exceed 200 miles per hour. And when the weather turns, it does not just snow, the temperatures plummet to -60 degrees Fahrenheit. It is a deep freeze where frostbite can set in within seconds. On Everest, climbers often have a weather window of several days. On K2, a weather window might last only a few hours. If you do not make it to the summit and back down within that tiny window, you are caught in a storm that could easily kill you. Now, let us step back in history. It wasn't until 1954 that an Italian expedition led by Ardito Desio finally put the first humans on the summit. Lino Lastelli and Achille Companoni reached the top, and it was a monumental victory for humanity. But K2 does not give victories, it rents them. In 1986, there were 13 deaths on the mountain in a single season. But the worst year in modern history was 2008, known as the K2 tragedy. 11 climbers from various international expeditions lost their lives in a series of avalanches and falls. It was a stark and brutal reminder that on this mountain, the peak does not care about your nationality, your ego, or how much money you spent on gear. It cares only about the weather and your ability to make split-second decisions when everything goes wrong. So why do we not see the famous traffic jams on K2 like we do on Everest? It is because K2 is technically far more difficult. Everest has fixed ropes and ladders installed every season, and it is heavily guided by commercial companies. K2 is a wild mountain. There are no permanent camps set up beyond base camp. You have to carry your own gear, set up your own tents, and break your own trail through fresh snow. Also, the approach is brutal. To even reach K2 base camp, you have to trek for over a week through the Baltoro Glacier, which is one of the longest glaciers outside the polar regions. It is a physical and mental grind long before you even see the summit with your own eyes. So, why do they do it? Why risk everything for a single moment on top of the world? Because K2 is the ultimate prize. If Everest is the popular rock star that everyone wants a photo with, K2 is the silent, deadly philosopher. It is the purest, most technical challenge in all of mountaineering. To date, fewer than 500 people have successfully summited K2. To put that into perspective, more than 6,000 people have summited Everest. In fact, it is incredibly rare for anyone to summit K2 without using supplemental oxygen. It is the mountain that humbles even the greatest climbers on Earth. It demands respect, and it takes no prisoners. K2 stands as a monument to nature's raw and unforgiving power. It is not just a mountain, it is a question. How far are you willing to go for a dream? How much are you willing to sacrifice for a single moment of glory? The savage mountain does not care about your answer. It simply waits. If you enjoyed this deep dive into one of the deadliest places on the planet, do not forget to smash that like button and subscribe to World with Ada. Hit the bell icon so you never miss an adventure. And let me know in the comments down below. Would you ever attempt to climb a mountain like this, or is the view from sea level good enough for you? I will see you on the next peak. Until then, stay curious.